Hello, everybody, and welcome to WarCrafters for July 14th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 17. I am Merwat, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer.
Good evening, and welcome to WarCrafters.
Oh no, welcome to you, oh great AI overlord. So today we're going to be talking about games with interstellar colonization, isometric simulation games. My mic is blowing out again. RPGs for kids, close up with Space Invaders canon, only up for the first Descendant, new No Man's Sky content, Hollow Knight Silk Song waits, Rogue Trader DLC delayed, waiting for games in general, and Cthulhu Fruit Ninja Joyride. That and more is powered by ohmTown.com. Go over there and become a citizen. Be sure to like and subscribe over on YouTube and follow us on Twitch. Download the podcast, subscribe to us via Patreon, hang out over in the Discord, and yeah, so how are y'all doing out there? Today, we merged all of yesterday's shows into one day on Sunday. So if you are catching this podcast for the first time, we've basically moved 4 shows from Saturday over to Sunday and left Non Sequitur News on Saturday, and now have 6 weekly shows on Sunday and a daily show on Sunday.
Right, we moved 3 weekly shows from Saturday over to Sunday.
Right, yeah. So, yes, that is how we're doing it. So there's going to be 6 weekly shows on Sunday, plus a daily show at the front of it. So we're going to do Non Sequitur News, then Reality Hacker, then Wanted, then WarCrafters, then the Continuity Report, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech. All on Sunday, so weekly shows. They'll all be posted either Sunday night or Monday, but either way, that's how we're going to move forward. And it opens up Saturday for so many more activities. I have no idea.
To be specified?
at a later time. And if you are interested in hosting or co-hosting any of the 50 channels that ohmTown wants to bring to YouTube, to Twitch, and to the podcast network, then get in touch with the mayor. Send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com. Anyway, let's get into today's articles. First article is over in the WarCrafters channel. That's the name of the show, too. It's almost like I named it. Open world games that feature interstellar colonization. There are open world games are some of the finest ways to explore the limitless potential in video games, and there is no wider scope than those open world games that focus on space exploration. Think No Man's Sky, or EVE Online.
Or hopefully the new game from the makers of No Man's Sky.
That's going to be a massive MMO on one huge world that is the same size as Earth. Yeah. So there's no wider scope than these open world games, right? So let's go on over to Game Rant. Matthew Weidman is the author of this. And they have a list, 12 open world games. So Satisfactory is an open world game. You basically build a whole lot of processes. Think Satisfactory factories. Overwhelmingly positive on Steam. You basically connect a whole bunch of resource gathering tools and point them into a warehouse kind of contraption, and it goes through processors to make certain things that you need. It can be casual or it can be frenetic depending on your pace of how you're going to play the game and how big you want everything to be. But it is potentially massive in scale. It's a lot of fun to play. It says players get to explore the planet's multiple biomes, fight off wild creatures, which not so much. and then build and automate infrastructure. And you can use trains, drones, conveyor belts, and more to create the most efficient factory possible in their time on the FICSIT designated sector. Fix it. Yep. So they don't have more than one picture on each of these articles, or each one of these examples, but it is what it is. And then there's space engineers, which is basically build a bunch of stuff. The focus is less on filling these structures with NPCs and is instead aimed at constructing and building to make the settlements, but there's still enough content involving space colonization to warrant space engineers' place on the list. So it is open world, sort of. But it's pretty neat to build. I haven't bought this game yet. It's in my wish list, but so it's multiplayer, allowing friends to participate in the construction process as well. Not all of them are always multiplayer. Astroneer is actually kind of like space engineers, except that it's on a planet, and you can play with friends, and it's more cartoony. Astroneer allows terraforming to take place, which is a key concept in speculative space colonization, often left unexplored in sandbox games like this. As a result, it plays with more authenticity than games leaning more to the technological or construction side of colonization, and is presented through a fun and engaging art style. So, yeah, it says it tasks players with activating cores found on multiple planets, but like the game's distant cousin Minecraft, this plot and progression can be done away with entirely to instead focus on the creation of any structure the player dreams of within the building mechanic process. So,
oh, I see. So basically, you forget all that and you just
go your own way. Yeah.
Go, yeah.
Just like Minecraft. Yeah, but it doesn't have the infrastructure mod support that Minecraft has. So then there's Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't know much about it. It says it's one of the most loved RPG series of all time. Mass Effect Andromeda is more of a spin-off than a sequel, despite taking place 600 years after the trilogy. The player takes the role of Ryder, who must find his or her father, as well as help the colony survive the various threats in the Andromeda galaxy. And you basically open world travel from location to location looking for Dad. Elite Dangerous number 8 is missing from this list entirely.
Oh, that's an odd situation. Maybe you get to fill in the blank with whatever one you want there.
Yeah, Minecraft, sure. I don't know. My Little Pony Rainbow Adventure. Elite Dangerous, it's a space-based game, of course. Much of the original game, the gathering of resources, exploration of new bodies and stations had become tighter in focus, allowing players to explore and participate in various colonies throughout the many star systems present in Elite Dangerous. So
I've never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, it's been around for a while. 2014. It's been quite a while. And it's fun to play, but I don't know. Like all games that I've played, I play them for a little while and then I'm like, okay. Starbound is kind of like the what was it called? Oh God, we talked about it in the last show. Lightspeed, TLS, I think it's called. Anyway, Starbound is packed to the brim with fresh ideas. Its two-dimensional system allows for quicker creation of new content, including characters, weapons, settlements, locations. As a result, the game is a vibrant and ever-changing simulation to explore. Gamers can visit far-flung settlements and aid them with missions, creating an immersive experience for space colonization. Planet Crafter is pretty cool because you keep on enhancing it until you recover the planet from a barren planet into a green, lush planet, and then you can either leave or stay. Players have to survive with their own oxygen supply until they can make atmosphere. And then it says, likewise, they'll need to gather materials, build machines that can raise the heat and geoengineer the planet to sustain plant life. They were actually abandoned on a inhospitable planet, given a task to make it livable so colonies can be built there. I
like that it has some or perceived realism with oxygen supply, etc. Although that might make it a little too focused on that and you can't do anything else you need to get done.
You definitely can. Like when I first played this, I wasn't told. I don't recall a tutorial telling me anything. I was just plopped on the planet. Had to. You basically keep doing certain steps, and the loop is to do certain steps to get to the next step, to do certain steps to get to the next step. And eventually you create a device that allows you to monitor what's going on in the world, and you do certain things to make the atmosphere, and then it creates water and trees and biomes that are created. You have to get resources, and there's meteorite strikes that give you rare resources. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's like things that are in that crashed on the planet previously, and you locate them, and yeah, it ends up being fun. So Outer Worlds is number 4. This has actually been around for a while as well, and it's very popular. Outer Worlds explores the actions and consequences of a colony rather than expecting players to create a colony on their own. The star system of Halcyon, prey to the megacorporations and their sinister goals, acts as a setting for a fast-paced narrative adventure involving cryogenics and secrets. Kerbal Space Program came out with a bang. Kerbal Space Program 2 has basically crashed and burned. So
well, isn't that the one that basically was crashing everybody's computer? Or those too labor intensive?
Was this the one? Really? I don't recall. I don't remember.
I thought it was.
Number 2 or number 1? I don't remember.
I think it was number 2.
Like Elden Ring at one point, I think, was causing that, and there's been others throughout the years, so it all becomes a blur to me. But it's basically Kerbal Space Program was designed to be as realistic as possible, but then the studio recently, I believe, has been closed down. This has been around for 9 years, almost. We're coming up on 10 years now. But you basically build your base up until you have the ability to fly off. I never got into this game, but players should not expect an easy to build modular construction, nor multitudes of citizens flocking to settle on your planet created base or bases. Instead, the focus is on research and resource management, and the game acts more like a conception of space colonization than the fully fledged action. Then there's Starfield. I don't think that this should be number 2. It's very limited in scope. Its world generation is pretty limited. They leaned into it in certain aspects, and then eventually said, well, it's only 100 planets, and it's barren, just like the real universe.
Right, it didn't quite execute on what people thought it was going to be.
Not what they thought, yeah. So we rarely get what we want. We get some semblance of it. But so adjacent to that, however, is the ability to create outposts, similar to the settlements of Fallout 4. Here, gamers can create homes or bases of operation or move away from the entirety. This is all expanded stuff. It wasn't originally like that. So now Starfield is an open world, open-ended system allowing players freedom when it comes to planetary colonization, while still retaining the expected traits of a game exploring this theme. So yeah, they basically riffed off of Fallout 76 and other Bethesda products. It's fine. I might go back and play it again, but I don't know. I didn't like the main story to begin with, and the exploration and building kind of thing was very limited, but now they've expanded shipbuilding and base building and other things. So maybe I'll go back to it. And of course, No Man's Sky is the number 1 on the list. So,
you called it.
Yeah, needless to say, No Man's Sky is a wonderful sandbox. You can do the storyline, or you can just chill. Obviously, you get more ships, more stuff, more capability as you play the game, and evolve your character. But you can build a base. There's a certain maximum number of parts that you can put in your base. People eventually hit that upper limit. But yeah, the whole place, millions of planets, actually quintillion. I can't remember the total number. There's an unbelievable number of planets that you can go to. They're all randomly, dynamically generated, with life. with population, settlements, colonies.
18 quintillion.
Yeah, so there you go. 18 quintillion planets that you can go and visit. Just outrageous. So I love this game, but it's so big that once you lose your way, you might as well just go, okay, I can do whatever I want. And I've never finished anything in this game. I always wander off. So my ADHD, which I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, but I'll play this game for an hour and just wander off. I don't know. It's not that it doesn't keep me interested, is that it's just so overwhelming. It's kind of like, where do I begin? And there's so much history now. It's been around since 2016, only getting better and never costing a penny more.
Absolutely. By the way, I guess right when this was released or close to, somebody calculated how many planets per person on the planet to complete it, and it was like 2.57 billion planets per person. And we know not everybody in the world is playing No Man's Sky, so that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so No Man's Sky is spinning up, the creators of No Man's Sky, Hello Games, is spinning up a new game called Light No Fires, and that game is going to be one Earth, and everybody's going to play on that Earth. And so,
I mean, that might be more manageable, right? Maybe.
I don't know. We're going to be running into each other. But see, there's going to be attractive locations, and everybody's going to clamor for the attractive location. I don't know if it's going to be a destructible planet like every planet is in No Man's Sky. I've never dug down to the core of a No Man's Sky planet either, so I don't know if that's even possible. But you know that there's going to be some very industrious population that's going to try and tank that new world, whatever the world is that we're going to be playing in. So there's going to be a whole lot of things that are fixed and non-destructible. And I don't know how well all of that'll play out, or if we're going to be allowed to have our own world and invite people to it.
I mean, that would be nice, because then you wouldn't have the crowd problem.
But it's a
and
huge
also the
amount of
destruction problem.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. If I want to destroy my planet, then I can. Just like a good human should. Okay. Let's keep going. The next article, I should just say moving on. The next article is over on the WarCrafters channel, best isometric simulation games. I won't be able to go through all of these because we'll be here until 2 a.m. on Tuesday. But there's 5 of them in this article. It's over at Game Rant. John Cunningham put the article together. The highlights of this are isometric perspective enhances spatial awareness and visual depth in simulation games like Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and Tropico 6. Transport Tycoon and SimCity 4 are influential classics that perfected their respective franchises' formulas. I think SimCity in general has, and Civilization type games has. Cities Skylines offers a detailed city builder experience with a well-received sandbox mode for creative freedom. Problem with Cities Skylines is I think that it's basically been shut down. There isn't going to be another issuance of Cities Skylines. There was one on the way, but I think it was canceled recently, but don't hold me to that just yet. So they talk about Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. This is from 2002, and the graphics really do tell it how it is. It's 22 years old in terms of graphics. Then Tropico 6, that came out in 2019. I believe it'll be the end of the series, but I guess we'll see. We'll have to wait. The trials and tribulations of being El Presidente are once again on display in the 6th entry of the Tropico series, and the game gives players some bang for their buck when it comes to time, as it covers 4 major historical periods, starting in the colonial period, going all the way up to present day. Number 3 is Transport Tycoon, and again, it's from 1994.
Whoa, that's in the Wayback Machine.
Yep. SimCity 4 is from 2003. It says perfected the beloved franchise's formula. City builder, essentially. And then City Skylines, an impressively detailed city builder. And that too, 2015, so it's 10 years old, coming up on 10 years old. For players looking for a looser, less restrictive simulation experience, as well, received sandbox mode is also on offer. As is the expected to be when it comes to sandbox gaming, this option provides players with space to let their imaginations run wild. You can do whatever you want, really, in City Skylines. With the complex gameplay and a remarkably sharp approach to transport, City Skylines is an on-point effort for city development fans to enjoy. Why do people say on point? Why is that a thing?
Well, I think I know, but I don't know if this was actually the origin. Like, I think it's a legal term, but it may have come from other places too.
But why is something legally on point and not just something other than on point?
Right. I don't know where it came from.
On point. Like on point of the discussion within the case? All right.
Right. But where did that start? I mean, it's like a chicken and egg problem, and it might not even be from there originally.
Wait, chickens come from eggs?
Usually.
Moving on. Next article's over in WarCrafters, best RPGs for kids. Let's find out what these are, because there was a recent discussion that I monitored the discussion. I wasn't a participant in it, but anyway, they were talking about having their kids play games, and the age range was from 6 to 12. So what games would you let your kids play, right? So RPGs are a fantastic vehicle for storytelling, requiring player investment in world building and character development. Younger gamers can enjoy RPGs as a gateway to storytelling with plenty of great options available for kids. RPGs like Ni no Kuni and Garden Story offer beautiful visuals, engaging gameplay, and a sense of wonder for players of all ages. The article is over at GameRant.com by Tanner Kinney and Mark Samet. And we'll run through these really quick. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Square's beginner-friendly RPG. Came out in 1992, so you gotta find it. Hold on, let me see. I don't know where you would find that. Where the hell would you find that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you'd have to find it on those platforms, but are those platforms even...
Well, I mean, it's only Nintendo then. So it would have to be on Switch.
I don't even know if, like, the Wii is... I don't even think that's current anymore.
I mean, it might be in the Nintendo shop.
Oh, right. In the eShop.
Yeah. So it says the game is by no means terrible, but it comes with plenty of outdated and frustrating mechanics. Way to sell it. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. A beautiful, powerful adventure with Studio Ghibli level visuals. So looks like it would be fun. It's available everywhere. Well, hold on a second. Let me see if it's on. It doesn't say Steam. It just says PC.
By the way, I can't find the other one in the Nintendo eShop, but I didn't look extensively.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So this one is from 2013. It's actually over in Steam as well. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. Ni no Kuni feels and looks and feels like a Studio Ghibli movie, and that's by design. This goes through its whole core with a colorful world and heartwarming story. It maintains a consistent family-friendly tone throughout without feeling designed for kids. Plus, the gameplay loop of catching, collecting, and battling has proven to be a success with kids, a la Pokemon. Then there's Garden Story. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to go through all of these one by one. Dodgeball Academia. Fun blend of sports and RPG elements. That actually looks like fun for me. My goodness.
Well, I was going to say one of the reasons the article's included is not just for the kids.
Dodgeball Academia is over on Steam as well. It's currently $25 though, but it's from 2021. It has these neat graphics. It's the core's battle system is fun, although the dodgeball games can get repetitive after a few hours. A few hours. That's amazing.
I'd say most games can get repetitive after a few hours.
Yep. The Kingdom Hearts, that's always popular. Bug Fables, Chrono Trigger, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. They have more specifics when you get over to this. Minecraft Dungeons, I think it's DOA, but it's still available, and it's easy to beat. Like amazingly simple to beat, apparently. I've only played a limited number of rounds of Minecraft Dungeons, and the person that I was doing it with, a citizen of ohmTown, basically just crushed the enemy, and I just sat there like, huh, that easy, huh? All right. Miitopia, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, or the Switch remake version of it. Costume Quest. That actually looks like fun. It's from 2010, and it looks like it's more on the mobile side, but it does have PC and PS3. So Costume Quest defining mechanic is the ability to equip the characters with new costumes that determine the form that they take in battle, and the battle system is straightforward to grasp, all while delivering a great deal of visual flair. Then Any Pokemon Game is number 2. And then Paper Mario, the 1000-Year Door remake. It's basically everything as paper cutouts style of art.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a cool visual, I imagine.
Yep. Hey, and before we go on, if you hit ! WC, that will pull up today's show notes that links all of the articles from today's show. And if you type in ! Show notes, that will give you the show notes for all 7 of our shows. And if you hit ! Pod, it'll give you the podcast links. Go check them all out. Let's move on though. The next article is over in the WarCrafters channel, and PVKK's full title is literally too big for our website, and the devs say it's Space Invaders, but the cannon you fire is really complicated. So this is a very interesting game. I actually saw a demo of it. PVKK, or if you're feeling ambitious, hold on a second. Planet Invertigungskan Konen Kommandant. It's actually 4 different words. It means Planetary Defense Cannon Commander. That's what it means in German.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see like the commandant at the end.
Yeah. So
and then okay, now I can pick out the individual pieces.
So yeah, planet, and then Planetary Defense Cannon Commander is what it's called. Yeah. So PVKK seems to scratch an itch in both to twiddle with vast arrays of analog buttons and to melt into the faceless machinery of an authoritarian state as a cog in the apparatus of violence. Finally, developers are making video games for the author over at PC Gamer, so let's go over and see what Joshua Wolins has to say about this. The deck statement says, being a planet Invertigungskankanen Commandant, or Commandant, is almost as complicated as saying it. Yeah. So basically, you're in this steampunk style kind of analog commander station where you eat, sleep, and live, and things are inbound. And so it's like, they say, it says, it's sort of Papers, Please like from the Dome Keeper team. It situates you as the at the controls of a giant planetary defense cannon fending off extraterrestrial invaders. So it's basically Space Invaders, where you're the one that's controlling the cannon. In Space Invaders, you used to be able to control, well, back in the 80s, the game was you were firing cannons off to defend against this invasion, like Missile Command, except that now you are directly affiliated with one big ass cannon, and it fires from here after you do all of the prep work, and eventually aliens land and attack you through a door that's behind you.
Oh,
and
wow.
It just looks like you see the round fly off towards the alien. And it's so immersive that I love everything about this. It's Space Invaders, but the cannon fire is really complicated, says director Renee Haberman in a chat with PCG, PC Gamer. Defending your planet, which is not the Earth, against invaders is a long and laborious business. There are clunky buttons to push, knobs to tweak, dials to adjust, all to find a firing solution that will hopefully blow your enemies out of the sky. It all looks very tactical. I want to play it in VR. I hope it's in VR. Please make it VR. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
It looks like it'd be really good as VR.
So I have it on my wish list already. It just says to be announced as the planned date, but it doesn't have a VR tag on it. So that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, I really want to play this on my Pico 4. That would be a blast.
Maybe it was made in Unreal.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, you're right. So it says that's also engaging for me as a player when it comes to decisions. Suddenly it's not okay. Do I choose the good path here or the bad path? And then later, I will do my evil playthrough. Instead, Haberman prefers it's really a decision every time a choice crops up. That's likely also why he says the game doesn't really have a message, which they found a touch surprising. The authoritarian government and enormous Schwer Gustav-esque canon made them think of PVKK might be taking a cautiously satirical anti-war stance, but Haberman feels sometimes it's just unpleasant to be forced to read the message that the developer wanted to tell you, and that instead, what I do enjoy a lot is to put the player in certain situations and let them have their own thoughts with it. That's something funny.
Well, that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, just play the game. Make of it what you want to make of it. They said that's something funny that also already happened with Dome Keeper. Some people picked up that you land on this planet, you shoot all the native creatures, you exploit the planet, and then you go away. Again, yeah, like, am I the bad guy? That's something I really enjoy. The playground for people to have their own thoughts and interpretations. So here, I'll play just a little bit of it. So basically you have to do all of the beeps and whistles to create a firing solution for this planetary cannon. Click the buttons and then eventually fire. Oh my God. This looks
unlike anything I've seen. I mean, this looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you wake up and you're sleeping in the commander's quarters. Analog everything. You apparently have a relationship with somebody via the screen. I'm not sure what all you end up doing leaving. I don't know if you actually leave. There are certain things that you have to do within the console or the control room. I don't recall the person ever leaving, but yeah, it's pretty neat. And very surreal. Oh, I guess you go down a hallway. You have to do certain things. Yeah. Pretty fun, though. But it does really seem like World War II-esque kind of infrastructure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Oh, it was the whole video. All right, folks. Well, there you go. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you can wishlist it right now. It's over on Steam, but there's no demo or anything, at least not that I found. Some people do have demos that you can watch over on YouTube if you want to get a little better understanding of it. Okay, moving on. Next article is over in WarCrafters. The First Descendant hits 10 million players despite controversy, released last week. And this is a week-old article. Well, no. This is a 2-day-old article, but the previous week is when the First Descendant hit. new sci-fi third-person looter shooter from Nexon that feels like a mix between Warframe, Destiny, and The Division. Yet, despite mixed reviews and controversy involving icons and in-game purchases, the First Descendant has reached 10 million players in just 7 days. The article is over at Kotaku by Zach Zweisen. The deck statement says Nexon's new online free-to-play looter shooter is popular despite all the microtransactions and mixed reviews. I was in one of the open betas. I'm not much of a looter shooter because the loop is so grindy and I don't want to spend money on a game. I'd rather just pay the gold price, not the blood price, and enjoy the game to my heart's content. If it's free and I don't want to do any microtransactions, then so be it. But go and try it. See if you really like it. But you run around evolving your character and getting stronger and stronger to take on more and more.
So what has the controversy been about this?
Microtransactions.
There has been a lot of buzz. Oh, it is about the microtransactions.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like microtransactions because while it might be free to play, they don't want pay to win. And if you pay and that boosts you, then you're paying the gold price, not the blood price. And people want you to suffer like they have to suffer. And I think that grind is the great equalizer, because a whale can come along and get massive power and dominate until somebody really dedicated rises to the level that the gold price paid. And then you really do find out who sucks, because while you can pay $100 or tens of thousands of dollars to be number one, eventually somebody that's really good and got there by learning every trick of the trade and how to fight or how to do battle or the strategies, whatever, they're going to dominate eventually, but they have to get there, and it can take, weeks, months, years. And maybe the whale will just die off, like get bored and move on. So, yet a fun free game with loot and cool grappling hook seems to be enough to make First Descendant one of the most popular games this month. When you're falling, you can fire out a grappling hook and it'll pull you back up. Or if you want to get to a platform, you can fire it out and it'll grab on and you can get into a different location to shoot the enemy. It's actually a lot of fun. Yeah, it's fun. The graphics are modern. It says the First Descendant's no good, very bad week. Shortly after the game launch, people pointed out how similar icons in First Descendant were to Destiny 2. On Friday, Nexon responded that they took it seriously. So saying they seriously took it and promised to change the icons while calling Destiny 2 a globally renowned looter shooter that was respected by the developers and which also inspired them during the development process. So because Nexon may have copied some of the Destiny 2 work, because a lot of people even compared this to Destiny 2. It's basically like Destiny 2. So meanwhile, complaints have raised by players that First Descendant's drop rates are too low for much needed resources to craft and unlock it. Nexon says that the drop rates are working as intended, but did suggest that it would make changes to the game. And then it's microtransactions. One big complaint is that shaders or paints for cosmetics must be bought and over for each new skin, instead of just being applied to the skin. You pay once and you can use the cosmetic anywhere. Players have also connected poor drop rate of materials used to unlock characters with the fact that Nexon will gladly take your money in exchange for skipping all of that and unlocking new characters instantly. See what I'm saying about microtransactions? And they're not necessarily micro.
Well, right.
Yeah.
That probably scales.
So, I like the game, but if you're not going to if you're not going to spend any money in a free-to-play, then don't. But you also are going to run up against roadblocks, and that's because the intended mechanism for you to succeed is to pay a little bit of juice, squeeze. Let's keep going. Moving on. And jump in whenever you want. The next article's over in WarCrafters. No Man's Sky developer teases new content, but it might not be what you think. So what do you think it is? I have no idea.
Well, I would have said Light No Fires, but that must be the what you think, but it isn't.
Yeah, fans. It's not. So it's about fans. It's about No Man's Sky specifically. Fans of No Man's Sky are strapping in for yet another potential content update following a cryptic tweet from developer and Hello Games founder Sean Murray. But some other members of the community believe that the small tease may not have anything to do with No Man's Sky at all. Maybe not.
Maybe it's going the other direction.
The No Man's Sky community has enjoyed a consistent stream of completely free updates. So
yeah, why aren't they one of the longest running that has continued to update, or no?
Continued to update without payment. Yeah.
Right.
No pay for DLC. Yeah, like 10 years. And I think it's because, well, I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know how they're doing it. But needless to say, it says, for example, plentiful tweets from Murray consisting purely out of orange emojis throughout the summer of 2020 actually served as a play on the word Origins, which was the title of the major exploration-focused update of that year. Fans of the game have recently been given cause for excitement again, with the creator of No Man's Sky potentially teasing another imminent update by sharing tweets that represent a different emoji, the planet Earth. Now, that might be a whole riff off of the idea that Light No Fire is going to be the size of Earth. So this one simple tweet quickly racked up hundreds of comments and hundreds of comments. That's it. And tons of attention in less than 24 hours. And it didn't take long for speculation among fans running wild. A hint plainly consisting of a planet emoji is definitely a bit vague in the context of a game that already contains an incomprehensible quantity of planets, but fans have agreed on some likely possibilities. And there's Light No Fire. Ta-da.
I mean, that does look like an Earth, right? Not a different planet.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually Light No Fire.
No, but up above you can see a
right
screenshot of the tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just has a little Earth. It says many therefore speculated that this is an imminent update. Could focus on overhauling planetary environments and exploration, something that No Man's Sky's community has been universally wished to see happen for years. True. Mainly because the planets look a little too kind of blah. However, others in the community were adamant that the tweet doesn't regard No Man's Sky, doesn't regard No Man's Sky at all. Doesn't regard No Man's Sky. Okay. I would probably have said disregards No Man's Sky.
Right, that would have been easier.
And not the at all. Anyway, and rather hints at some major upcoming news pertaining to Hello Games' upcoming title, Light No Fire. So, yeah, essentially Light No Fire is going to be a massive Earth, and everybody plays in it. I don't know if it's going to be a live service, which I would not want.
Stop
I would rather
killing games.
Yeah, essentially. And while they may be able to run a world in perpetuity, I don't want to have to rely on the goodwill of somebody. I would rather pay, $50, $60, $70. I'd pay $100 for a game that gives me the ability to invite my friends to play in a world the size of the world and the fantastic nature of it, like Light No Fire or No Man's Sky. And I can do that with No Man's Sky. Don't make me have to choose to play Light No Fire out of the... Go ahead.
Don't tell the developers anything about that proposition, because then they'll suddenly crank up the prices, but not offer all of those things.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, they're already doing that, but...
Yeah, I don't know about this developer, but they charge what the going rate is, I suppose, just to be practical in that fiduciary sense. But it's still greedy. Anyway, moving on. Next article's over in WarCrafters. Hollow Knight Silksong's long wait is very different from Elden Ring's. So fans have had to endure an infamously long wait. That's more than famous. It's infamous.
Whoa.
Yeah. The hotly anticipated sequel first revealed in 2019. Any news from Team Cherry has been very, very sparse ever since. Updates almost never come during major showcases, leaving fans largely in the dark to this very day. Though other games have had similar waits for their release, one concerning factor heavily distinguishes Hollow Knight Silksong from its peers, and that's the fear that the game is in development hell and could be cancelled. Micah Warnock Estrada put the article together for GameRant.com. The highlights are
there will be an uproar if this is canceled, I think.
Yeah, the fear of cancellation sets it apart from peers like Elden Ring, which I don't think that the two are on par. Silksong's smaller team and indie status create unique challenges, and the lack of info has left fans in limbo and sparked fears of cancellation. I don't think that it should have been announced so far back.
No, why would you put that out there like 5 years back? Now, of course, they didn't anticipate things like the writer's strike or the pandemic or other things.
Right. Compared to Elden Ring, which players had to wait a long time for, but knew would eventually release, Silksong's anticipation is scary or fueled by sparse updates and doubts about its future. These three highlights are basically the same highlight in the bulk of the article. Everybody's freaked out that it might get canceled, even though it had rave reviews. Silksong, or I should say Hollow Knight, is kind of a fan favorite. And so hopefully if the money was saved, invested, and spent properly, hopefully they've got enough money to make this thing a reality. So until the next major update, Hollow Knight Silksong is essentially in limbo, with little to go off of in that regard. Silksong continues to be plagued by fears of its own audience. It's certainly frightening to track the years-long wait for any news to come out while dodging rumors of cancellation all the while. So don't. Folks, if you're interested in Hollow Knight, play Hollow Knight. If you're waiting for Silksong, wait until it's formally announced as being pending availability or entering early access. But why sit there and stress about a game that you're possibly never going to see?
Well, and also show your dedication to that developer, because then they might go, we have however many fans playing this, and probably all of them are going to play Silksong.
Yeah, get everybody to wishlist it, and that's one of the reasons why something might happen, Let me see something real quick. Yeah, so Hollow Knight right now is $15. Hollow Knight Silksong can be added to your wish list, and it just says to be announced. So, but they have like a content list and everything, game features and screenshots and.
Well, so maybe it's closer than people realize. I mean, it has been a long wait since it was announced, but.
Yep. Let's keep going. We got 3 more articles. Moving on. The next article is over in Tabletop Nights. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader DLC has been delayed. Void Shadows is delayed. Previously planned for release on PC, PlayStation, etc., etc. The DLC will now launch on September 24th instead of August 8th. The company will use this delay to fine-tune the DLC. The article is over at RP Gamer or RPG Gamer or ARPAGamer.
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 RPGamer.
Oh boy. It's dedicated to mermaids. Or mer people. That's right. That's oceanographically correct. Yes. Mohammed Lamin Kolabali put the article together. A developer and publisher Owlcat Games announced that Warhammer 40k Rogue Traders DLC expansion Void Shadows has been delayed until September 24th. I don't know. Is there much more to actually talk about? The title's currently... Rogue Trader sees players leading a ship of personnel as they explore the dangerous Coronis Expanse, making decisions that have the ripple effects through the universe. And the title is currently available on PC and etc., etc., etc. Steam, GOG, Epic Games, everywhere.
Oh, it's very brief.
Yeah, there is a video, though, for Void Shadows. So if you're interested in the DLC teaser trailer, follow the link through ohmTown. Moving on. Next article is over in Reality Hacker. These are the games we're still looking forward to in 2024. It's already been a busy year for video games, but the backstretch of 2024 is even more crowded. Digital Trends put this article together. Giovanni Calantonio is the author. I I'm not going to go through all of these. You can follow the link. I can't find one in here that I'm actually looking forward to. So,
well,
Crush House,
okay,
Astrobot.
let's see what's Astrobot.
Okay, so Crush House is basically The Sims' big brother. And
It looks like some reality TV.
Wacky. So Astrobot, if you're looking for a potential game of the year in 2024's back half, Astrobot is the one candidate. Sony's latest exclusive takes the tech demo experiments of Astrobot Rescue Mission and Astro's Playroom and blows them into a full-scale platformer. By the way, Astrobot was nothing more than a commercial character, kind of like the Gecko, and is now its own product in Astrobot. Dun, dun, dun. Being released September 6th. It was used for marketing, and that's it. And it says a few levels that the author tried showed off confident platformer full of clever power-ups, precise platforming. It's basically like a Nintendo World kind of a thing where you're jumping around, or Mario World. But I have an embargo on Nintendo stuff, so when I talk about Nintendo, it's more of an abstract observation thing. I just don't play Nintendo stuff because of the way that they treat content creators. But anyway, UFO 50. Kind of like the original Doom kind of a thing. It's a dungeon crawler, actually. So the latest project from Spelunky creator Derek Yu has the weirdest elevator pitch. It's a collection of 50 long-lost games from a developer. Oh yeah, UFO 50. I forgot about that. It's a whole bunch of these like 8-bit games, these old 80s games.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Or Atari-style games. 1 minute they were playing a top-down mini-golf game in the style of Zelda, and the next they were managing a house party through deck building. It's an unpredictable collection filled with surprises, and they can't wait to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. So there's 50 long lost games from UFO 50. Dun, dun, dun. And then Rusty Rabbit, side scroller, platformer game, 2.5D action adventure game with a truly gonzo premise. After humans flee the Earth, rabbits inhabit the planet and take their place. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, September 26th. And Life is Strange, Double Exposure. I thought this was canceled. Life is Strange. Well,
Hold on a second. We'll see if it actually comes out on time.
Can you hear my typing?
Yes.
Oh. Sorry about that. Not really. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Life is Strange 2. Right? Is Life is Strange canceled? I don't know anymore. Oh, there is a Life is Strange 2. But
the comic series, it looks like, was.
Oh, maybe
but it says Life is Strange 2 is canceled from a Kickstarter.
Interesting. Okay.
But that was quite a while ago.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, so and then they talk about Batman Arkham Shadow and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which talks about geo lines, the lines of force that go around the planet that create a grid. Anyway, the upcoming adventure action game essentially looks like a first-person Uncharted that goes all in Indiana Jones's flair for the dramatic. With Wolfenstein Studio Machine Games at the helm, we're expecting a thrilling blockbuster full of satisfying Nazi beatdowns. I doubt that they're going to hype up the fact that Indiana Jones's relationship was inappropriate.
Right, that probably won't be a feature.
Moving on. So the designer of Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride is back with a Lovecraftian roguelike. Luke Muscat, the lead designer for Half Brick Studios' Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride. I called this section Cthulhu Fruit Ninja Joyride.
Maybe that'll be the new title.
So it's a new game called Feed the Deep. This time, he's not backed by a studio and supported by colleagues. Feed the Deep is his first solo project after quitting his job. I quit. I'm going to resurrect Cthulhu. Feed the Deep is his first solo project, so he calls the game a Lovecraftian deep-sea roguelike because you take on the role of a diver who literally has to feed the eldritch horror lurking in the darkness of the ocean's depths. It's like Cabin in the Woods underwater.
Meets Dave the Diver.
Yeah. Actually, I thought that's kind of about this. Yeah, it certainly looks like it, doesn't it? I mean, it's pretty darn close. Neat. So Mariella Moon is the author of this over at Engadget.com. The deck statement says, in Feed the Deep, you have to feed the eldritch horror living in the ocean's depths. The deep one. So let's see here. In the game, humanity built floating cities on the surface of the ocean without knowing what the threat living below was. Your job is to feed whatever's living in the deep so that it doesn't destroy the cities. If you're interested in horror, CZ's World over on YouTube does horror history, and there's a new episode about Cabin in the Woods. I never wanted to see Cabin in the Woods until I watched this, and it put a different tilt on it because there's a historical context. He goes through the history of Cabin in the Woods. Now I want to watch it, and I kind of spoiled everything by linking it to this, but it's not.
Uh-oh.
It is and it isn't. But go watch that and then watch Cabin in the Woods. I'm going to go and get Cabin in the Woods. But so yeah, they basically built a bunch of stuff on the surface of the ocean without knowing what was below it. In the Steam page, Muscat said that the game is inspired by games like Dome Keeper and Spelunky. You'll have to keep collecting resources in the darkness to be able to get upgrades and items, all while managing your oxygen to make sure that you survive the dive. The caves you explore are procedurally generated, so every time you play it, it's going to be unique. Seems like it would be fun. It's unclear if Feed the Deep will be available on non-PC platforms, but Muscat only shared a Steam page for it so far. So, let's see. Look at that. It's right there. Add it to your wish list. Done. Release is scheduled for
Doing it
Q3.
live.
Doing it live. Oh, so you hear the keyboard. Do you hear the thok?
Yes.
Some nice thok.
But I didn't want to usurp your announcement, so I figured you'd say that.
What, of the thocky keyboard?
Yes.
Oh, it's just a chill key 65. I didn't get a... I'm trying this one out because I've got a purple one coming. But it's delayed, so I'm using a black one that I've got for another person, just testing it out. And boy, do I love this keyboard. But I want one that's like this, but heavier. And split keyboard. This is a candy bar. So I'm actually thinking about starting up something that is specific to keyboards. But we'll see. We'll see. It's still in the planning stages. So if you know anybody that wants to donate keyboards, get in touch. Try them out and even send them back. Not a big deal. I just want to get a little bit more into... I want split keyboards though, and they don't make these heavy duty style, amazing quality and sound keyboards in split style. Usually they're much lighter and yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but we'll get into that as time goes on. I'm still hashing out issues with other shows. I was planning on launching 3 of them, but I've gotten too close to a start date for something else, and so I can't really spin up the 3. And 1 is burdened by issues related to copyright. So... with that said, I'm going to summon one of the elder gods, and that's going to bring us all the way back to the front page of WarCrafters, which is found under Creative and Maker. Down there is WarCrafters, and when you hit the link, it'll refresh real quick and give you a whole bunch more news. Look at that. It's pretty amazing. But we're done, so I'm going to power down the game. I am Merwat, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer.
You can't catch me. Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for WarCrafters. I feel like I want to keep talking, so I keep moving around here.
See ya, everybody. Oh no. The Elder Gods have found